and welcome back to our channel Pharmalix, your go-to source for latest job vacancy updates and all the important news about GPAT and NIPER exam. So if you are new here, I am Sudhanshu and I am thrilled to have you join us today. If you are visiting the channel for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell icon so you never miss an update. We bring you the most accurate and timely information to help you stay ahead in your career and your exam preparation regarding pharmacist. So without wasting any time, let's get right into it. So the first question of this video is, which of the following drug is used to treat hypertension during pregnancy? So the question is asking about a drug which is used for hypertension, but the case is pregnancy. So let's take them one by one. So with the first option, hydralazine. So hydralazine is a potent vasodilator. So that means it will help in the hypertension. Secondly, diazoxide. Diazoxide is also a potent vasodilator. That means what are the vasodilators? Vasodilator means those who will dilate the vessels. So those are called the vasodilators, and diazoxide are also used in hypoglycemia in certain conditions. And then we have clonidine. Clonidine we have studied as alpha 2 adrenergic agonist. Alpha 2 adrenergic agonist. So this is a very special case, and these drugs are now not being very extensively used, but they were very famous in the previous times. And then we have minoxidil. From minoxidil we can get two type of questions. First is, minoxidil is primarily used in nowadays for hair fall. So if you want to save hair fall, people are using minoxidil. And also minoxidil was primarily made for hypertension, to reduce the blood pressure. So in this question is directly asked from the classification side. So if you see, hydralazine is the correct answer, and hydralazine can be used in hypertension during pregnancy. So now we will see which are the drugs which can be used in hypertension during pregnancy. So we also have a trick in here. Firstly, we will study for the mild hypertension. So for mild hypertension, we can use methyl dopa, labetalol, nifedipine. So how would you remember this? So methyl dopa is basically first drug of choice, and this do not alter the maternal cardiac output and the blood flows to kidney. Okay. So this is how these three drugs can be remembered. Mother loves Nike. So mother loves Nike. M for methyl dopa, L for labetalol, and Nike N stands for Ni, nifedipine. And then we have in the severe hypertension, where the few drugs are common, they are used in IV stages. So here Hero loves New Balance. So Nike and New Balance both are the shoe brands. So this is not any advertisement or endorsement, but this is just for the trick. So Hero loves New Balance. So Hero means hydralazine, that is in IV fusion state, and loves means labetalol, and New Balance means nifedipine and nitroprusside. So in this way you can remember the drugs which are used as antihypertensive drugs, and these are the drugs which are safe in pregnancy. So let's get into our next question, that is, which of the following statement is true? That in this four statement, any one statement is true, others are false. So you have to identify them. So streptokinase is prepared from the human kidney cells. Is it? Let's see. So urokinase act on plasminogen directly. Is it? Yes, I think this may be correct. So heparin has slower action than warfarin. So here you have to mark that warfarin is the slowest one. So this is going to be wrong. And menendione, natural form of vitamin K. So menendione is not natural form of vitamin K. So this is also wrong. So the correct case we have is the B one. So let's see. So urokinase act on plasminogen directly. So how does it act? Let's see. So its mechanism of action says, so what does it does? So urokinase are fibrinolytics. So fibrinolytics, they bind to the fibrin on the clot, activate the fibrinogen bound plasminogen attached to it, and then plasmin is cleaved from plasmin bound plasminogen. If the plasmin is cleaved, the plasmin breaks cross links between the fibrin molecules. So the different fibrin molecules which are intact due to plasmin bound, they are now breaking, and due to this the dissolution of clot happens, and that's how the clots are dissolved in the body. So whenever you will see somebody is having a clot or atherosclerosis situation, these kind of drugs are prescribed to them. Okay, so in here in the diagram also you can see this is plasminogen, and here urokinase is directly working on them, and then plasmin, which is ultimately helping in the dissolution of clot. So let's move to the next question. So before proceeding to the next question, I would like to highlight here that whatever questions we are discussing here, similar kind of questions could be asked, or maybe there could be situation where the question can be tweaked in some other ways, but there could be the idea, there could be options, or there could be some form of tricks which might hit you at the time of exam so that you can mark the correct answer. So with this, let's go to our third question. So drug combination warfarin vitamin K results in a specific interaction. So if you will see carefully, these are antidotes of each other. So these are going to be working as a antagonist. So the first option is antagonist. Then we have increased sedation. Does vitamin K and warfarin cause sedation? No. No known interaction. There are no known interaction, but we already know these are antagonistic to each other. So this is also wrong. Harmful only in the presence of oxidizing agent. So oxidizing agents reduces their harmful activity. So this is also wrong. So the correct answer is antagonistic. So these are antagonistic to each other, or we can say these are also antidote. So vitamin K is an antidote when warfarin toxicity is involved. So here we will see that these are the drug agents and these are their antidotes. So if you have similar kind of questions in the exams, you should learn this table. So many times it has been asked for warfarin, dopamine, heparin, iron, lead, and as well as these opioid analgesics such as naloxone and nalmefene. So these are some important drugs for which this kind of questions could be asked, and especially this one, benzodiazepines, for which antidote is flumazenil. Okay, let's get to our next question, that is from antiviral agents and the drugs which are used in virus diseases, viral diseases. Next we have antiviral activity of zidovudine is due to. So zidovudine is a drug and it is an antiviral drug. So here it is directly asking that what is the mechanism of action of zidovudine. So if you have learned the classification, so this is why I always highlight and I always put pressure to learn the classification of each and every chapter. So if you have the classification on your tips, you can do these kind of questions very easily. So if you know the classification, you will also know the mechanism of action, because mostly classification involve all the mechanism of actions. So in this classification, you will find it. How? We will also discuss this in our next slide. So antiviral activity of zidovudine is due to inhibition of viral protein synthesis. No, we have already learned a trick for proteases, that ritudone is protease. So it is ritonavir, which is reducing or inhibiting the viral protein synthesis. Then inhibition of viral RNA dependent DNA polymerase. So is it viral RNA dependent DNA polymerase? So answer could be yes. Why? We will discuss it. Then we have inhibition of viral RNA polymerase. So C is also wrong. Why? Because of the classification we will discuss. Then we have none above, which is also wrong. So the correct answer is B. It is due to the inhibition of viral RNA dependent DNA polymerase. Let's get into the classification. So here you will see antiretrovirus drugs, and these are the agents which are acting to reduce the viral activities. How? The first is NRTIs. First is NRTIs, which we call it nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor. Here the first drug is zidovudine. So in case if you have learned the classification, sometimes the first drug could be your answer. So here in case of NRTIs, nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, zidovudine is the answer. And then there are NNRTIs, to which delaverine, efavirenz and nevirapine could be the answer. And then here the first option they gave from protease inhibitor, that the kind of drug which inhibit the protein synthesis. So here we use ritonavir, atazanavir, indinavir. So trick for these kind of drug was Ritu, don't tease protease. So Ritu means ritonavir, and so from here you can understand the kind of trick we have used. And Ritu, why Ritu? Because ritonavir is the most famous drug and there are multiple instances where ritonavir has been in the option. And then entry inhibitors. So in entry and CCR5 inhibitor, these are oftenly confused by people. So entry inhibitor we have enfuvirtide and then CCR5. These are the binding inhibitors. So binding inhibitor we have Maraviroc. Okay, and then we have the integrase inhibitor, someone which inhibit from the integrase, and that is raltegravir. So now let's learn how on the different stages different drugs are working. So for example, for the first step where we have to stop the fusion of virus to the host cell surface, we use enfuvirtide. And then for the virus to not get attached on CCR5, we use Maraviroc. And there are other new drugs such as fostemsavir which are being used nowadays. And after that, so these are the second stages where it is inhibiting the CCR5, that is Maraviroc. Then third, when virus is in RNA stage, how do we stop it? So we call them NRTIs, nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. N stands for nucleoside. So here we use zidovudine, didanosine, stavudine, lamivudine, abacavir. So यहाँ पे you can also use this trick, that is abaca, zoo, has, lion and dinosaur. So abaca means abacavir, zoo means zidovudine, lion means lamivudine and didanosine means dinosaur. So this trick can be used here. And then the virus moves to the DNA stage. So when the virus is in DNA stage, you can use these drugs, NNRTIs. That means non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. That is nevirapine, delaverdine, and these are the few drugs which are also being used. And then for the integrase inhibitor, when the virus is trying to integrate into the host cells, to prevent this situation, we use raltegravir. And then there are other drugs also. So why I am highlighting only few drugs? Because these are the drugs which are being asked in the exam. And then we have smaller proteins fragments, when virus has becomes the new viral RNA and the RNAs are producing the new viral proteins which are going to infect other cells. To stop this, we use protease inhibitors, in which we have discussed ritonavir and sacubitril. Okay, so this was the complete antiviral activities and their cycle along with their mechanism of action. So if you have learned this, there are no questions from the viral chapter which you will leave in the exam. So the next question is, Risperidone is agonist of following receptor except. So Risperidone acts on multiple receptor. It acts on multiple receptors. So it is asking on which receptor it does not work. So is Risperidone working on D2 receptor? Yes, sir. Is it working on D1 receptor? No, sir. So is Risperidone working on H1 receptor? Yes, sir. Is Risperidone is working on 5-HT2 receptor? Yes. So Risperidone works on these three receptors, but it does not work on D1 receptor. You have to comment down that which are the drugs which are working on D1 receptor. So D1 receptor is the correct answer. Risperidone bindings, if you see, it binds to D2 receptor with 20 times lower affinity than 5-HT2 receptors. So here D2, 5-HT2 and H1 receptor was the correct answer. You can also refer to this. So next question is, infliximab is used as. So this is one of the simplest question. If you only remember the chapter of this drug, you can answer all of these, because these are the terms which has been extensively used in this chapter. So infliximab, is it used for anti-cytokines agents? Yes. So is it used for Crohn's disease? Of course. So infliximab is also used in psoriatic arthropathy. Yes, sir. So all of the above is going to be the answer. So let's learn how these chapters. So chapter name is immunosuppressants. Okay, so immunosuppressant, we have multiple classification and you should learn this classification. These are the important, I'll mark it double star chapters. So with double star chapters, you will have to be very careful. So you will have to memorize all the, first thing, all the classification and then all the mechanism of action along with their adverse effect. Okay, so this is all we need from these kind of chapters. Okay, so here we have TNF alpha inhibitors, that is our infliximab, which is used in Crohn's disease. Next question is, following statement of tricyclic, that we also called TCAs, tricyclic antidepressant agents, are true except. So tricyclic antidepressants are true for which of the cases? So except, if you find this except in your exam, that means it is asking that which one of them are false. So if you will see closely, it is imipramine non-selective against non-adrenaline and 5-HT receptor. Okay, this is true. Venlafaxine is weak non-selective against noradrenaline and 5-HT receptor. This is also true. Phenelzine is selective against noradrenaline. Okay, this is also true. And then doluxetine is potent selective against noradrenaline and 5-HT receptor. So this is going to be wrong because doluxetine is not selective for both, it is only for one. So that's how you learn. So what is depression? First thing you need to recognize here is how depression happens. So depression ki definition you can refer from here, but how depression happens, this is due to these two receptors. First is our happy hormone. When your happiness is down, you will feel depressed. Second, when your excitement is down, that means your adrenaline is high, down. So these down regulation of these both hormones leads to, or we can better call them neurotransmitters. What we can call them? Neurotransmitter. If these neurotransmitters are down in your body, there are chances that you will feel depressed, and these are the activities. So here there are a lot of information, but these are the two which are the prime information and which can lead you to an answer to your question, and rest you can refer from this slide. So there are few classification. I always put classification in the slide because I want you people to remember all the classification. For MAO, this has been extensively, and most of the time people have asked reversible MAO inhibitors examples. So we have moclobemide and clorgeline. Then we have SSRIs and SNRIs. These are also two important classes. So in SSRIs, we have fluoxetine, fluoxamine, paroxetine, sertraline, citalopram. And then in SNRIs, we have only two VD, that is venlafaxine and doloxetine. And then we have TCAs, which we were discussing about. So in TCAs, we see noradrenaline and 5-HT reuptake inhibitor. So see, if we have 5-HT and noradrenaline low in our body, so the prime motto of these drug is to increase these neurotransmitters. And how would they increase? First thing, either they stimulate the neurotransmitter directly or indirectly they inhibit the reuptake of them. So if the reuptake is reduced, ultimately on the synapse their concentration would be increased. So if you want a separate video on antidepressants, do comment below. I'll try to explain all the drugs with their mechanism of action as well as their side effect. So for TCAs, you can see what it can do is it can inhibit the uptake of noradrenaline and 5-HT. And what are these drugs? Imipramine, amitriptyline, tryptamine, doxepin and dothepin. And then predominantly only for non-adrenaline reuptake inhibitor, that is desipramine, nortriptamine, amoxapine and robaxetine. So that is how you learn and then you use it to solve your questions. Here photodermatitis is seen with. So sometimes it will ask as photodermatitis, and then this is also can be asked as photoreaction, photoallergy, some things related to sunlight. So in this case, learn photophenothiazines. No question asked. So this is a simple trick. Phenothiazines, photo. That's how. So no alcohol, no nicotine, no all the above. Okay. So drugs frequently causing allergic reaction. And what kind of allergic reaction? Some phototoxicity. So that is phenothiazines. And there are other drugs which are involved. You can refer from KDT. We have also mentioned the page number in here. And then you can also refer from the table we have mentioned here. So these are the drugs which are causing photosensitivity. Okay. Next is barbiturate poisoning include all. So barbiturate poisoning has everything except one. Which of the following? That is pupil constriction. So this you will find in KDT, as well as if I would also recommend GDCs. There is a coaching GDCs in which I used to, I'm also involved. So GDC have their own modules, and they have they have provided in very simplified way that all the tables which are having their antidotes, their poisoning and their effects. So you can refer to those modules and make your preparation more stronger, or else you can use our OG book KDT. So pupil constriction, yes. Babinski sign, no. Hypothermia can occur, yes. And hypotension can occur, yes. So this will all happen, but Babinski sign is never positive. So, okay. So what is Babinski sign basically? So Babinski is a reflex. If someone will use this instrument on your leg in this direction, so your leg, if it is goes on the forward direction, if it goes in the forward direction, then the reflex and sign is negative. But if it goes in the backward direction, in your head direction, then it is positive. And this is not positive in barbiturate poisoning. And barbiturate overdose, how do we diagnose that? So swallowed or swallowed breathing, then weak pulse, blue lips or fingers, confusion or disorientation, seizures and coma, cold and clammy skin. So let's discuss the last question of our series today. Which of the following are naturally occurring? So these are the naturally occurring female hormones. So is it estradiol? No sir. Is it estriol? No sir. Is it menstrual? No, no sir. Is it estrone? Yes sir. So estrone is a naturally occurring female hormone. So always use the elimination method. Eliminate the wrong ones. You will always find the right one in the life also and in the MCQs also. So that's how the estrone is correct answer. How did we got to this answer? This is simple answer. We got from the classification. So if somebody is new trying to prepare for GPAT and asking if there is still time, yes, there is still time. What you can do is you can target these subjects: pharmacology, pharma, cognosy, and then pharmaceutics. Take the GDC module, start revising or start learning, start reading these chapters. With the pharmacology, you will only have to study the classification, mechanism of actions and adverse drug reactions of important drugs. And then with pharmacognosy, you will have to memorize everything. See, there are no more shortcuts. You will have to memorize everything. Use your own trick or use the trick I have given on my own channel, which I have implemented to crack the GPAT exam. And then for the pharmaceutics, see, it is very interesting. You will have to only go through the book or go through the modules. Start by the interesting chapters such as tablets, capsules, emulsions, and then go through each chapter again and again and proceed. After completing every interesting chapter, go for a boring chapter. That's how you will remember and you will force yourself to study more. So this is the easiest way to just crack your GPAT exams. And see, GPAT, I feel GPAT is only a way to enter NIPER. So GPAT is not like scoring a lot of high rank. GPAT is only qualifying. It's a qualifying match. So you qualify GPAT, take some time and then study for NIPER and rank here. So thank you so much for joining. Stay tuned to Pharmalix for more learning and job vacancy updates.